everybody. Welcome back to the Local Living Podcast with the Reid Casey Real Estate Team. We are so excited to chat with you today. Kathryn and I are here going to talk to you about something that we get asked every day, and that is what's going on with the market. So whether you're buying or selling, or you're just kind of curious of what's happening, we're going to go through some key factors that we look at every day to help our buyers and sellers determine on what the market is doing.
Yeah, thanks, Reid. So I have a few questions for you.
Let's do it.
All right, let's talk about some key market trends, starting with supply trends. How important is it for buyers and sellers to understand the number of homes that are available in their area, but also the price range?
Every day that I get in the office, I look at how many homes are on the market. And the reason that's important for us is to determine, it kind of gives us an indication of how many new listings came on so we can take a look at what those are for our potential buyers, right? It also gives us an indication of what our sellers may be competing against. So right now in Milton Cambridge District, which we monitor very closely, there's about 156 listings on the market. That is fairly low. At the lowest of the low, that number in like 2021, 2020, early 2022, that was like 117, 120. Wow. That went up to about 180, 188, and now it's back down. Of course, it's the fall season. Not many people putting their house on the market. To about 156. But it just kind of gives us an indication of how much supply is on the market.
So rising and falling inventory levels, do you have a big influence on the pricing?
The more homes that are on the market, the more competition for sellers, the more options for buyers. Typically, that indicates either price stabilization. If it gets too high, like in 2008 and 2009, we had 40,000 listings in Metro Atlanta on the market. We had tons of options for buyers. Sellers trying to give their houses away because buyers had so many options. It definitely had an impact on decreased pricing. So it really kind of helps us judge our prices kind of stabilizing. If inventory gets really low, is there an opportunity for us to push pricing potentially for our sellers and give them advice?
Well, let's hope we never have to go back to the 2008, 2009 era. Yes. Okay, so let's move into the absorption rate. What is it and how does it factor into all these trends?
Absorption rate is really just a simple key metric that gives us an indication of how fast homes are selling in a certain given in a market in a specific time period. We typically measure absorption rates over a 6-month period. But I'll just kind of do some simple math using the example that I just gave. 156 active listings, let's just call it right now, in Milton Cambridge District in our local market. And over the last 12 months, about 54 homes have sold per month. Okay, so 54 homes have sold per month on average, 156 active listings. So if no other homes came on the market, how long would it take for those 156 to sell? Well, 54 are selling per month. That's about 34%. It would take about 3.4 months for that inventory to absorb. Now, the reason that's important, Kathryn, is any number of months of supply under 6 indicates a seller's market. That's a lack of supply. Anything over 6 months starts to indicate, well, we've got an overabundance of supply, and it indicates more of a buyer's market. And that's a really healthy thing for buyers and sellers to understand. Buyers, it's important because, well, they need to know how many options that they have, and sellers also what they're competing with. It can get so specific where the months of supply can get narrowed down to certain price points. So I just kind of gave you a general absorption rate. But really, when we're talking and interacting with our clients, we kind of narrow it down to the area and the specific price range that they're in to nail that down, to determine whether we're in a buyer's market or seller's market, depending on the price.
Thanks, Reid. That's helpful. So let's talk about days on market. Why is it important for buyers and sellers?
All of these metrics that we look at every day they're like brothers and sisters, right? But the days on market, meaning the number of homes that we have on the market, it has an implication on the absorption rate, which also has an implication on the days on market. The days on market is important for buyers because as they search for homes that have been sitting on the market without price reductions, they may be able, or hopefully their agent is able to help guide them through, if it's been on the market for 30 days, from what we're seeing right now, homes that sit on the market for 30 days are usually selling for X% below list. So it's kind of a gauge of value, right? For our sellers, it's sort of the same thing. If we're interacting with a seller whose house we've had on the market for 30, 60, 90 days, then we can really tie it down to a metric to say, all right, guys, listen, we've had this many showings, we've been on the market this long. Here's what we're doing on our marketing side to get people through the door. But based on statistic information, it says if we make a reduction that is 3%, 2%, 1%, whatever the conversation is, then we have a good opportunity to sell. So both sides, that days on market number is really impactful. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today on Local Living with the Reid Casey Real Estate Team. We are so excited to chat with you about the market. So if you have any other questions, we're happy to help. Those are just some key metrics that we take a look at every single day to help our buyers and sellers make decisions through the buying and selling process. And even answering those questions when we're at parties or when people say, well, what's the market doing? How's it going? If you found this episode to be helpful, please subscribe. We are on all podcast platforms, so we'll see you next time.